Hi, what's going on, everybody? The Iceman here on the Jeffrey Rose YouTube channel, the Iceman V2013 channel. It's football Sunday, and right now the Jets are thumping the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is unexpected at this point. They are, playing in New Jersey. A friend of mine from work went to the game. I hope he's enjoying himself. He's a big New York Jet fan. He hasn't really had a lot to cheer about this year, as have I with the New York Giants, who are out in Seattle against the Seahawks today. But my video today, everybody's been talking about the Survivor Series pay-per-view and how much it's changed. And I want to talk about pay-per-views in general, basically. When the pay-per-views really started back, in I don't know when you want to call it. It was like early to mid 80s. NWA, they had their like closed circuit for Starrcade when it first came out, and then of course the WWF came out with WrestleMania, and then when times moved on, um, there was like four pay-per-views a year by both WCW, NWA, WCW, WWF, and back then you could not wait, for the next 3 months after a pay-per-view to see the next one. And they had 3 months to build up these pay-per-views. And back then they did a great job of building up. You'd have a feud going on, and this feud would go on for a few months, and then it peaked at the pay-per-views, and they were great. But money started rolling in, and the promotions are saying, hey, we have four, why not make more? And they escalated to more until the point they got to 12 pay-per-views a year. The WWE sometimes had 13, and it really got to the point they were doing a pretty good job of, building up these feuds in 30 days. But you have to understand, back in those days when these 12 pay-per-views a year came about, the rosters were huge. I mean, you could just build a feud pretty much with anybody, and there was so many superstars that, you know you get rid of one feud, and somebody started feuding with somebody else, so then you built your feud for the next pay-per-view. And back in those days, they did a great job of building feuds. And the thing is, nowadays, with so much TV exposure, uh, with the WWE, and now also with the WWE Network, and there's so many internet wrestling sites that you can watch anything of pretty much any promotion on the internet via stream whenever. It's gotten to the point with so much exposure that, pay-per-views are really of less importance, because with the more pay-per-views, the more TV exposure, there's less superstars on the rosters. Or a promotion chooses not to use all their stars, and they just limit their pay-per-views with just a circle of their superstars, and they just continue to use the same superstars month after month after month. Now, when they do that, how many different combinations of matchups can you do after a while? And this is the thing that's happening right now, like with the WWE, especially with the injuries to Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan being gone, um, and even with the absence of uh, Brock Lesnar, who I still say to this day should not be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But in any event, he is. But the issue here is we can watch a Monday Night Raw and see a match would say Cena or Orton, or Cena and Rollins, or Cena and Ambrose, or Orton and Rollins. We can see this on Monday Night Raw on in most instances. So when the pay-per-view comes and it's one of those same matchups, you lose a lot of that, anticipation and can't wait type of thing because you've seen them wrestle so many times before. So, indeed, the pay per views have really lost a lot of their importance. It's just another way for the promotion to make a lot of money. Granted, um, buy rates are down, especially now that the network, for $9.99 a month airs the pay per view and you can watch it for $9.99 unless you choose to still pay the 45, $50 or whatever plus tax with the cable. So pay per views in general are really less important now. And really, we don't. I think they should go down to six, really, and give 2 months to build up a feud, and try to keep these one-on-one matchups that they're going to have at a pay-per-view, keep them off of TV. Maybe have these guys involved in a tag team match against, say if one guy's going against another, have them each have a partner in a tag team match or even a 3-on-3, but keep them away from that one-on-one matchup and save it for the pay-per-view. And you need to expand the roster as far as you know who's wrestling who. You've got enough superstars to really do so, and until they do something like that, the pay-per-views are just they're ho hum. Sometimes they're good and sometimes they're so predictable. Um, sometimes they're just mediocre, and then occasionally you get a one great match that will make that pay-per-view you know a pretty good one. But in most cases, um, it's usually that one or two matches that saves the pay-per-view, and the other matches on the card are just really lackluster, or they lack a lot of airtime, um, and the predictability is just there. So I think going to like six pay-per-views a year, and then building a really good storyline, and bring in different people involved in the storyline instead of having that revolving door of the same guys. I mean, I think the WWE can really, really get the interest back for pay-per-views. And you go back to the past, and a lot of us try not talking, don't talk about the past because it is what it was back then, and it is what it is right now. But there are a lot of people that are skeptical about what's going on in the WWE, and they're unhappy with what's going on in the WWE. WWE can make things better. They really can. Just keep pay-per-view matches off live TV, and make a match where the only way you're going to see it is if you have that pay-per-view. Because right now everybody's wrestled everybody right now in Monday Night Raw. And like I said, it's a revolving door of the same stars wrestling each other, maybe just a little different matchup, but we've seen it all before. And many occasions they've gone back, and we've seen like John Cena wrestle Randy Orton at a pay-per-view. I mean, we saw a lot of that back in 2008 when they had their big one-on-one feud for all that amount of time. So I think the WWE can do a little bit better, and but really by reducing it to six pay-per-views a year, I really think the anticipation waiting for the next pay-per-view will heighten a little bit more. People will be a little bit more excited for that next pay-per-view. And, you know, until you try it, you don't know. Because really, in all reality, if the WWE took six pay-per-views off from the WWE network, how much money are you really going to lose? I mean, in all reality, I mean, they're complaining that the network isn't being sold properly. They're not getting enough, subscribers. You need to build up these pay-per-views, and people. If you build up a pay-per-view with a great main event, and people don't have the network, and they can just buy it for that 1 month to watch that pay-per-view, you're going to get these people to buy it without a doubt. You just need to build up the feuds. And it's really hard to build up a feud in like 30 days or less. And sometimes the feuds go on for a couple months where the same wrestler wrestles the same wrestler. Sometimes enough is enough, and after a while, people just don't want to see the same match for 2 or 3 months, unless there's different stipulations in the match, which a lot of times there are. But all in all, I think 12 pay-per-views a year are way too many, and keep these pay-per-view main event matches off live TV. Enjoy your Sunday of football. Enjoy wrestling. Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. Interesting, I believe they're out in the UK. Ryback and Cena. Interesting matchup. I don't understand, the whole idea behind all this, but again, one only knows. It might have something to do with Team Cena, and it probably does. So we'll just have to wait and see, and we'll know the answer. Um, after 11 o'clock Eastern time here in the United States. So peace out, everybody. Hope your team wins today in football. One can only hope that the Giants can come out on top out in Seattle today. We'll see y'all next time. This is the Iceman on the Iceman V2013 channel, the Jeffrey Rose YouTube channel. Subscribe. Peace out.